Hey there, everyone. I'm Todd Alsop, coming to you from New York. Happy Sunday. This is the Center for Spiritual Living's Sunday online service. I'm your musical guest today. I'm going to start things off with a little John Mayer. Hate to see you cry, lying there in that position. There's things you need to hear, so turn off your tears and listen. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. No, it won't all go the way it should, but I know the heart of life is good. You know it's nothing new. Bad news never had good timing. But then the circle of your friends will defend the silver lining. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. No, it won't all go the way it should, but I know the heart of life is good. Your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. There is a friend who's misunderstood, but I know the heart of life is good. I know it's good. Said I know it's good.
Thank you, John Mayer, and thank you, Todd also.
Isn't that a sweet song?
It's an adorable song, and I got tickled when you said I'm going to do a little John Mayer for you because I immediately thought of John Mayer about this big, and John Mayer is so obviously not small. He's not little; he's a big guy.
I'm going to do a miniature John
Mayer. A little
Mayer.
John Mayer. Yeah. But what a beautiful song because it's not only a catchy tune, but it's also the lyrics have such depth and meaning as written. And then to put them in the lens of the teaching here of the science of mind is that affirming that it's all good and using it as a declaration and then believing it, right? So,
yes, of course. Yeah.
What a great selection. It's so good to have you back.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, hello. Well, good. Well, we'll see you in a bit and we'll carry on and continue. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Keith.
And I'm going to say good morning to all of you in the context if you're joining us from the West Coast and or just believe it's morning. It certainly feels like morning to me, even though I've been up for hours. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I am the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. And I welcome you to our Sunday morning, I started to say our midweek morning meditation. It kind of feels like a Wednesday morning in some odd way, but to our Sunday morning celebration service. It's our weekly online service that we come together to put into play, just as the song was saying, that life is good. I am good, and there is good here in it, and it's good by means of me. Meaning that once we choose to align our mind with the spiritual reality that good does exist and that it is ours for the thinking, that when we choose to think in such a manner, a positive manner, an affirmative manner, a direct manner, that the law of life responds to us and provides corresponding experiences. And so I affirm for you today that you are exactly where you are meant to be. And what I mean by that is that the internal guidance system of the divine has drawn you into this space and time continuum to hear something, to feel something, to resonate with something that sparks a new perspective for you, the individualized expression of the divine. And in so doing, remember that good does exist, and it exists by means of you. I'm going to put on the screen our opening slide, and we will move through that, continuing to affirm and reaffirm. The vision statement for our community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I affirm for each one of us today that whether you're joining us live through Zoom and or YouTube, or at a later date watching us through our website or other social media sites, that is indeed what is unfolding through and for and as you, finding a greater sense of personal self-empowerment, which is a result of a spiritual awakening. In our philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, a spiritual awakening is the remembrance that we're one in a sea of consciousness of life. And so I welcome you, and I honor you, and I issue the act of namaste to you, and know that you do so in return to me. Namaste is a Sanskrit word that means I bow to thee, not in an act of supplication, but just as the song we spoke of a moment ago speaks, it is a direct and purposeful act for an act of surrender to thee, that impersonal, infinite, all creative power that is giving us life itself. We are but a grain of sand in the experience of life, and yet at the same time of great importance, because we have the ability to think, believe, and choose in life. And so I know for each one of us today that we choose to take a deep breath in, center ourselves in a deeper awareness than it was a moment ago, exhale together, and say namaste. And so as a community, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We stand with you and want you to know that just as you are safe here. My great, as we all know, famous and most loved Ernest Holmes quote is that spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. Just as you are, we welcome and celebrate you, one and all. We come together on Sunday mornings to remember who we are. As a community, we are individuals and a collective that supports you being exactly who you are, but we're one that comes together to primarily practice and teach and engage in the principles of the teaching of the science of mind. We're here to make a difference both in our own lives and the lives of others. We do that through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions and our interactions with the very thing itself, life. And because we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, it responds to us by providing corresponding experiences. And so as we stay tuned into this journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, we have the opportunity to tune in to the oneness of life itself, which exists as the expression of the energy that pulsates through us as life. This force of life includes the qualities of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. It's not limited to those, but that is who we all are at our very essence. And we like to move into our ritual called Calling in the Light for the purpose of remembering that we are indeed this power, this presence, and this peace, and this beauty, and this joy, and this love, and this life, and this wisdom. We primarily focus in this ritual that we open our service with called Calling in the Light, on light itself. And so I invite you today, in this moment, wherever you may be, and if it's safe for you to just tune in to the energy of the music that we hear on the screen, or that we hear that's coming through the screen, and to look on the screen, if that's comfortable and safe for you, at the flickering flame and the purple orb of light, and hear these words as both an instruction and an invitation. Today we perform this ceremony, calling in the light, to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The purpose of the ritual, this ritual, is to draw into our gathering this morning a conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities, as I spoke of a moment ago, that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. Just breathing in together and exhaling as we feel the vibrations shift both through the breath and during this experience. May we each become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in and as all expressions of life, which includes you and it includes me. That's not the slide I wanted. This is the slide I wanted. I'd like for us to hear this spiritual mind treatment that we've used a bit in the last couple of weeks by Ernest Holmes. Spiritual mind treatment is an affirmative prayer. It's spoken in the I am and in the first person. And as I speak it in the first person, the I invite you and encourage you to know that I'm speaking it not just for you, but you hear it as the I am for yourself. Let's take a deep breath in together and exhale and hear these words. I know there's a power for good, which is responding to me and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfoldment, to my happiness, to my peace, to my health, and to my success. I just know and affirm there's a power for good that enables me to help others and to bless the whole world. So I say to myself, quietly to myself, there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. It's flowing through me, circulating in me. I'm one with its rhythm, and my heart beats with the pulsation of the universe. In serenity, in peace, and in joy. My whole being, my whole physical being is animated by the divine spirit, and if there's anything in it that does not belong as its divine nature, it's cast out, and I affirm and reaffirm there's one perfect life in me, as me, right now. Just letting that move through and be absorbed in and pulsate through our being. Todd's going to come on the screen and we're going to go through the song Calling in the Light. The lyrics will be on the screen. For the call and response portion.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
Now sing this with me.
I am love, I am peace in my heart, I am free, I am spirit, I am soul, all together we are whole. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
I love your vibrato as you sing that.
Oh, thank you.
I was watching, I've been on this spiral kind of, I don't want to say a downward, but a spiral of going deeper into interviews with different musical artists in the country vein. And I was watching someone being interviewed. I don't even remember who it was at the moment, but it was Tanya Tucker being interviewed. And the person interviewing her was saying, "Oh my God, I love your vibrato. And like, have you always had that?" And she said, "Yes, I can remember it like, 8 years old, singing and having it." And so I've also been following this YouTube channel I'm going on that Clint Black interviews all these different artists called Talking in Circles. And it's really just fascinating to hear these personal stories from so many different musicians, just about the journey, the journey of following that passion. I know you have that passion. You're following it in your life, and it is just that, right? It's a passion that's just that.
Yeah, and I'm equally fascinated with sort of like how people come to arrive at their sort of like their personal style, where they got those tools from, what they've chosen to include in how they make music, and what they've left out. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so many different style tools that don't necessarily get like named all the time. Like you named one, like vibrato is one tool that you can sort of like color a vocal with, but there's so many different things that you can use or choose not to based on just like what moves your soul. So I think that's
It's interesting you say that. Yesterday I was watching that particular channel and he was interviewing Pam Tillis, and she was talking about how she had met so many people because of her dad, Mel Tillis, on the journey, but they all kept wanting to pigeonhole her into this box of being a country music artist, right? And so like 20, she's like, I have to get the hell out of here. And she went to San Francisco, like hung out in Haight-Ashbury to find her voice. And when she was there, she actually ended up being in kind of a jazz fusion world, and then a little bit of rock world, which all was just too fast paced for her, which then made her realize she needed to go back to her roots, right? Yeah. But she had to get away from them so she could come back to them. It's just so fascinating. And she was talking about how and then as she realized that the industry itself had become so commercialized in a different way, that then she kind of released her attachment to writing hit records and just about doing her artistry, right? It was really moving to follow it.
Yeah. Always fascinating how people sort of find their way. They have to go away and discover something new to sort of like find their way back to whatever's, It's
it's kind of what we teach and talk about all the time with Deepak Chopra, talking about how we must know our desire at all times while simultaneously being detached from its experience. Right? It's like, so we're excited to hear this next song.
It's a classic. It's a good one. It's on theme for us.
All right, take it away.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a light that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Oh, let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Yeah, there will be an answer, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Yeah, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Yeah, let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Such a classic and such a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous song. Shared with us by a fabulous, fabulous being. So
Thanks so
thank you.
much. Thank you.
In this time of gratitude, I say thank you.
I say thank you back.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks, Todd.
I'll see you
And
soon.
so as we kick off this week of Thanksgiving here in the United States of America, we as a community continue our theme of gratitude. And so I'm going to take us through my message, which is a slideshow presentation with some readings today, to remind us to stay in the vein of gratitude. So let me do this, and off we go. And so gratitude. Gratitude is defined in this traditional sense: the positive state of being grateful, an overwhelming feeling of appreciation and thankfulness, and the desire to return kindness to others. Let's just let that sink in for a moment. The positive state of being grateful. I don't think it could be any other state other than positive, of being grateful. It's an overwhelming feeling of appreciation. And let's just tune in to the feeling of appreciation. When I say tune in, I mean, yes, vibrationally, but also with the feeling of being grateful, of appreciating, of saying thank you, and then the desire to return that kindness both to ourselves and to others. Our theme for this month is gratitude is happening through me. It's much like the affirmation that patience is an action step. Gratitude is an action step. It's one that we get to make a decision to tune into, to express, to radiate, to emanate, to put out into the universe energetically, because everything is indeed energy. And then knowing that we live in a universe governed by spiritual law, that which we express must return to us. And in letting it be while at the same time declaring life is good, the two songs we've heard so far, other than Calling in the Light, which is also a clarity call, a clarion call, if you will, to this, is to know that what we put out there, if we stay detached to it, it must return to us. And in our teaching, we declare that that which we express returns to us multiplied abundantly. Today, it's my intention and objective for each of us to begin to see differently than we did yesterday, and not making yesterday wrong or bad, but seeing differently the act of gratitude happening through us, the physical, energetic, intentional act of putting out gratitude, a new perspective on gratitude, and opening up to having that return back to us, to seeing the results of that energetic exchange in a new and different way. I love this little graphic on the screen that says more gratitude, less attitude, meaning being less attached to it, but tuning into gratitude as a way of life. We know in our teaching that we are imbued with choice as contemplative beings. And we all, I'm sure many of you have heard it, and I'll say it again, one of my favorite quotes by Gary Zukav is, choice is the engine of evolution. If you choose consciously, you'll evolve consciously. If you choose unconsciously, you'll evolve unconsciously. He goes on to say, consciously is way better than unconsciously. Trust me, been there, done that. And then he says, choice is the second greatest gift we've ever been given as beings of life, second only to the gift of life itself. So today, let's all choose on this journey to be grateful, no matter what's going on in life, to be grateful, to purposefully and decisively choose gratitude, and to continually to affirm, just like John Mayer did in the song of today there is good, that today I am grateful. Say that aloud wherever you are right now. Today I am grateful. Today on this date, Sunday, November 23rd, or whatever date it is you may be processing this experience, I am grateful. Thank you comes in many different words and is expressed by many different beings. I'd like to read to you, as different graphics of thank you and beings come on the screen, a poem by the great, adorable Matty J. Stepanek, who was a young boy that died in his teen years that had muscular dystrophy, I believe is what it was. Yes, rare muscular dystrophy, and was bound by a mechanical wheelchair and a breathing machine at times, and is, I believe, one of the most prolific poets, published poets that existed. And I love his poetry because it's just so simplistic and gives one the opportunity to see through the eyes of Matty, and then to realize what great opportunities that we all have in our lives as well. And if you're not familiar with who he is, you can Google him or YouTube him, and you will be able to have the great blessings to witness him on screen many times on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And so enjoy this poem by Matty J. Stepanek titled On Being Thankful. It's such a great example for us. Dear God, I was going to thank you tonight for a beautiful sunrise that was pink behind the fog down the hill, and for a wonderful rainbow that I ran under pointing to all my favorite colors, and for a great sunset that sparkled orange across the water. I was going to thank you tonight for all these special gifts, except that none of them happened. But do you know what? I still love you, God. And I have lots of other things that I can thank you for tonight, even if you don't give those very special gifts to me today. It's okay, God, because I'll look for them all again when my tomorrow comes. Amen. What a great example to each of us to make a decision to have an attitude of gratitude just like Maddie was having, and to make a decision to affirm that today I am thankful. I'm not only living in the desire of expressing my gratitude, but I know that it's moving out and coming back. We all are presented with the experiences of expecting the rainbow, or expecting the sunset to be beautiful, or expecting fill in the blanks, and those things may not show up. But what does show up for us moment by moment and opportunity by opportunity is the ability to make a decision to be grateful, and to know that the gratitude as a result of the choosing to be grateful is happening through us, not to us, not for us, but through us. We are indeed the conduit for experiencing this throughout the entire 24 hours of the day. And so let's remember that every day we have a choice before us to choose, I'm full of gratitude, and to make the decision that today is the best day of my life. Now, why does that matter? It matters because we are the ones in the driver's seat, if you will, of the experiences of our life, at least to the best of our ability, and at least to the way that we respond and react and interact with life itself. In other words, the way that we participate in our own healing. Healing is a big word in our philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, both in its physical context in life, but more importantly, Ernest Holmes tells us that healing is the act of revealing wholeness. It's that return to an awareness that we are one with the sea of consciousness of life. It's that return to the remembrance that we are peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. But for you and I to get to have that experience, we must be one with that energy as we express it. Remember, we give gratitude that returns to us multiplied abundantly. The great Deepak Chopra addresses this concept and this action in this way. He says, to achieve healing, we must put our life-affirming beliefs into action. When you activate any belief, whether life-affirming or not, also known as positive or negative, the cells in your body get the message immediately. The good news is that the healing system that supports your body has immense intelligence of its own. What this means is that healing is already holistic, reaching everywhere, knowing as much about you as you do. Once you really take this in, you will sense the enormous, mostly hidden power of the mind-body connection. Our neglect and damaging habits, our bad choices and toxic emotions are anti-healing. Take that in again. Our neglect and damaging habits, our bad choices and toxic emotions are anti-healing. In other words, they're anti-revealing our divine nature. We act as if the body is a complicated object we have little control over and often no sympathy with. What is needed is a shift in beliefs that begins with a basic but profound truth. Once you intend to heal, healing has begun. Now I want to insert the word gratitude here. Once you intend to gratitude, remember gratitude is happening through me, gratitude has begun. He goes on to say, to align with your own healing process, the following guidelines are practical and workable every day. And I don't have those here with me right now. So just take that in. So what we've said so far is that once you intend to live in a world of gratitude, it's already begun. Once you intend to heal, to reveal your wholeness, it's already begun. Today is the day. So let's begin to look at this tuning in through the act of intention. It tells us on the screen, the vibration of appreciation is the closest vibration that can be experienced by a human being to that of their non-physical core energy, meaning your divine energy, your essence, God itself. Appreciation or gratitude or healing, they're all kind of the same thing. Not kind of, they are the same thing. So let's go back to this. Appreciation, gratitude, healing feels good and you're powerful and important now. and it guarantees wonderful future experiences as the universe responds again and again to your signal. Now remember, we started this by sending out our gratitude and being open to it coming back. Now imagine that gratitude is much like a radio frequency. We're all been around long enough to know what a radio frequency is. We can, in our own mind's eye, or a television frequency, know that when it moves out, it goes out and it hits something, it bounces off it, and then it brings back to us an experience of that, oftentimes in some form of a visual aid, if you will, much like we're experiencing right now. Now imagine that also happening and taking place through you as the vibrational frequency of gratitude, which we learned a couple of weeks ago, sits right under on the map of consciousness, the purest energy there is as the divine. In other words, gratitude is the tool, if you will, the gateway to us experiencing our divinity, i.e. experiencing our healing, i.e. experiencing our wholeness. Feel it, express it, and then choose to be it. Gratitude. Life is one big continuous circle of giving and receiving energy. Be thankful for who and what's in your life. Take that in. Be thankful for who and what's in your life instead of complaining about what you don't have. If you focus on gratitude, you'll start to attract prosperity and abundance. You'll start to attract prosperity and abundance. Who wouldn't want more prosperity and abundance in your life? Even if it's just a little bit more. Because that little bit more builds on that little bit more, which builds upon that little bit more. The great Louise Hay, the 20th century metaphysician, writes in her book, Gratitude as a Way of Life, these words. We've heard them before, but I invite us all to hear them and to take them in and to absorb them and to let them ruminate in our being as a clarion call, if you will, to engage in living with the principle gratitude is happening through me, and then using our mind to begin to imagine that as an energetic frequency that's moving out and coming back to me. And let's even imagine it right now that it's happening to all of us collectively, while also knowing we're all in different places, locales, different zip codes, different states, different places, and yet we can feel and imagine what it's like to express it individually, believe that it's connecting to all who are participating, both through Zoom and YouTube at a later date, because we're all interconnected, and then having it return to us, feel it as it comes back, and let it become a new part of who and what you are, and believe that this exchange is indeed a healing act. Here's what the great Louise says. Gratitude is a way of life. It's the active practice of thankfulness and appreciation. Being grateful can be as simple as sending positively charged thoughts out into the universe, which we just did, to give thanks for all that you have and all that you are. She goes on to write in a very kind of testimonial, personal way this. I have noticed that the universe loves gratitude. The more grateful you are, the more goodies you get. When I say goodies, I don't mean only material things. I mean all the people, places, and experiences that make life so wonderfully worth living. Let's just take a moment and imagine today and then tomorrow and the next day that we navigate and experience and express life with more goodies in our life. Enjoying and appreciating the people and the places and experiences in our life that makes our life so wonderfully worth living, and even making the decision right now that there are going to be people that we engage in that we don't even know that's going to also radiate this, and we're going to exchange with it. Louise continues, Mother Louise, I'll say. You know how great you feel when your life is filled with love and joy and health and creativity, and you get the green lights and the parking places, This is how our lives are meant to be lived. The universe is a generous, abundant giver, and it likes to be appreciated. Think about how you feel when you give a friend a present. If the person looks at it and their face falls, or they say, oh, it's not my size or not my color, or never use anything like that, or is that all there is? Then I'm sure you'll have little desire to ever give them a present again. However, if their eyes dance with delight and she's pleased and thankful, and then every time you see something she would like, you want to give it to her whether you actually do or not. In other words, you tune in to that energy, to that feeling. She goes on to say, by the time I've gotten out of bed, I've probably expressed gratitude for 80 or 100 different people, places, things, and experiences in my life. This is a great way to start the day. In the evening, just before sleep, I go through the day blessing and being grateful for each experience. I also forgive myself if I feel that I made a mistake or said something inappropriate or made a decision that was not the best. This exercise fills me with warm fuzzies, and I drift off to sleep like a happy baby. We even want to be grateful for the lessons we have. Don't run from them. They're little packages of treasure that have been given to us. As we learn from them, our lives change for the better. I now rejoice whenever I see another portion of the dark side. Where did she go? Of the dark side of myself. I know that it means I'm ready to let go of something that has been hindering my life. I had an experience of that this past week. I'm not going to get into the details, but I had just been working with a client. We were having a mantra of change my perspective, change my perspective, change my perspective. And I was at the grocery store and encountered an individual that in some ways had been a nemesis in my life. Don't mean to get him, but they looked at me and they smiled, and I smiled back, not realizing it was them. And I'm not sure they realized it was me. And not that we hugged it out by any stretch of the imagination, but I walked away from there saying, wow, this is exactly what I teach and preach, that when I put out to the universe to have a new perspective, it responded and gave me an opportunity to have a new perspective. That's the same thing with gratitude. When we put it out there, it must respond. That's the way it works. So she says to the universe when things such as that experience happens, thank you. Thank you for showing me this so I can heal it and move on. Heal it and move on from the previous state of mind. That doesn't mean that state of mind is not going to come back again, but it's from that moment of the previous state of mind. She goes on to tell us, whether the lesson is a problem that has cropped up or an opportunity to see an old negative pattern within us, like with me it did, that it is time to let go of, rejoice. What she's telling us is that we are at the crux of making decisions, of choosing to be grateful, to choose to be into healing, to choose to believe that life is good. She goes on and tells us, here's the way to use our power and to send out our vibratory energy. Let's spend as many moments as we can every day being grateful for all the good that's in our lives. If you have little in your life now, it will increase. If you have an abundant life now, it will increase. This is a win-win situation. Choose to know you are happy, and then the universe is happy, and that gratitude will increase your abundance. Imagine going through life knowing that there's goodies everywhere. I follow this cook called Cooking with Brenda Gann. I've talked about her before on YouTube and Facebook and all over. And she cooks old Southern food just like my grandmother did. I started to say like my mother did, but my mother didn't really that much there, but she did some. But when this woman fries her pork chops or fries whatever she's frying, she fries a lot of food. The stuff that's left on the bottom of the pan, she calls your goodies. She's like, you can't leave your goodies. You got to get your goodies up. And I often think of this quote by Louise Hay as the interchange of these words. What it's all telling you is there's always good there. Make sure to participate in getting it. How do we do that? By choosing to be grateful. Gratitude. Gratitude opens the door to the power itself, to the wisdom that we're imbued with, to the creativity of the universe. The key is to set the intention and open ourselves up to it responding. Deepak also tells us these words from a writing I published years ago about this journey of opening the door. He says, what's so miraculous about being human is that from the very first moment you said it, your intention shapes your reality. Once you intend to heal, healing has already begun. And when you add the power of belief, attitude, practice, your healing process accelerates exponentially. Now take that in for just a moment. Once you intend to heal, and remember that gratitude is what opens the door to this, healing has already begun. And when you add to that the power of belief in what? That it is indeed frickin' happening. Attitude, yeah, it's good, baby. Practice, meaning that you practice saying, yeah, it's good, baby. And you practice having an attitude of gratitude. And you have the belief that life is good. Then it all accelerates exponentially. In other words, meaning that you can literally get up and walk away from your desk. I'm saying that because I'm sitting at a desk. And the experience of the good is right there. It doesn't mean you even have to get up and walk away. But the point being is that the minute we've set the intention, the universe aligns with that and provides an experience. But the key to the experience is being open to it. So then what are we called to do? He tells us what we're called to do is to align your beliefs and actions with your intention, and you'll shed whatever is holding you back in life, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, with ease and with grace. He goes on to tell us that it's been scientifically proven that when you activate a life-affirming belief, your whole being responds. The life-affirming belief that I invite us all to align with right now is that gratitude is happening through me, and that this gratitude is indeed the gateway, the doorway, if you will, to healing. He goes on to tell us your very cells open up and nourish the process of healing. We've seen this in weight loss, addiction recovery, finding the perfect mate, healing from a trauma, and the list goes on and on and on. Even the smallest steps move you forward. What does it mean? It means that as we navigate the journey of life, be kind with yourself. Be forgiving with yourself and others. Know that you are loved simply because you're here. And to know that this is because your essence is love, the self-givingness of spirit. And when we each choose to embody that love and choose to be that love without struggle or effort, we can indeed manifest, meaning step into the experience of healing, holing, living life as a conscious, awake, alert awareness of the divine. Then we can indeed manifest this revealing of healing, and that will indeed propel us forward in life and will help us develop a consciousness that reflects its own nature. I invite you to know that, yes, you're just a grain of sand in the cosmos of life. You're just one stellar expression. In the galaxy, that's the Milky Way, which is one of tens of thousands, if not millions out there. But you're special. You're special because you are you. Remember, Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. And so today I invite all of us to remember this, that everything around us is made up of energy. To attract positive things in our life, in other words, life-affirming things, we start off by giving off positive or life-affirming energy. How do we do that? We do that by remembering to be grateful. I love this image on the screen of the energy coming off the being. Today, I invite you to begin to see yourself this way, as a being of energy and aura, and all the energy that's coming off you that is emanating and vibrating from the decision that you've made, that we've each made, to be grateful. And to know that it's going out into the solar system and out into our galaxy and out into the sky, the night sky, providing us with an energy of healing and wholeness and completeness. And to know that gratitude, when filtered through optimism and selflessness and spirituality and empathy and self-esteem, does indeed provide us with true happiness. In other words, more goodies in life, a more detailed self-awareness of who we are. And remember that gratitude, if nothing else, can indeed alleviate stress. And the opposite of stress is peace and happiness and goodness. And so from today forward, let's remember that gratitude is indeed happening through me. I'd like to share with you a spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer that I've written that's going to be in our newsletter coming out tomorrow. And if it's comfortable for you where you are and you can close your eyes and take this in, it too is in the first person of I am, but I invite you to hear it and to take it in and let it be a call and an invitation for continuing to express gratitude. Today I give thanks. I do so in the vein of a deep understanding and acceptance of the universal power of the divine that is present in my life. The omnipresent power is fully expressed in, as, and through me. I activate this power into greater expression through my thinking, beliefs, and actions. I release any state of mind, beliefs, thought patterns, or ideas that are not in alignment with my divine nature. I bring into play a new experience in my life by choosing to be grateful for the good that exists now. It's through this process I align my being with the grace of God, the divine givingness of life, and my heart is open to the abundance of life. I consciously practice gratitude. Therefore, there is only room for love, appreciation, acceptance, kindness, generosity, and receptivity in my life. And I'm aligned with good in life, my life. Each and every day, I live my life from a new perspective, one of acceptance, thanksgiving, and surrender. There's no room in my consciousness for doubt, lack, judgment, or fear. I know at a cellular level, all is well in my world. And I act, think, believe, and interact with life accordingly. Good exists. Therefore, I am that good in action. Remembering this will be in our newsletter that goes out tomorrow for you to read and to print and to practice. And so it is. Todd's going to come back on and take us through a song as I say to each and every one of you, thank you for being you and for being here.
If you wake up and don't smile, if it takes just a little while, open your eyes, look at the day, you see things in a different way. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow, don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be here better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Why not think about times to come and not about the things that you've done? If your life was bad to you, just think what tomorrow will do. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be here better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. All I want is to see you smile. If it takes just a little while, I know you don't believe that it's true. I never meant any harm to you. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be here better than before. before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Ooh, don't you look back. Ooh, don't you look back. Ooh, don't you look back. Ooh, don't you look back.
Yes, the great Fleetwood Mac, Miss Stevie Nicks.
Don't you look back, Keith.
Hey, that may be the next artist that you do your show. You may do a Fleetwood Mac show, huh?
That'd be a great show.
Yeah.
It may not be an artist this year. It might be a theme. I'll fill you in later. I'm not
Okay,
committed
you
to
know
it.
I was going to ask, and I didn't want to put you on the spot. Okay, so,
Yeah. I'll
That's
get your read
great.
on it next time we talk.
So you've done Madonna, and you've done Elton John, and you've done George Michael, right?
And Donna
Yeah.
Summer.
And Donna Summer.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're the new Jimmy James.
That's a compliment. It's a slightly
Have-
different thing because James is a master impersonator.
I
And
know
he
Jimmy
shows-
James well.
Yeah.
I know Jimmy James well. I hired Jimmy James years ago, flew him in for a birthday party for my ex. I've known Jimmy for 100 years. I met Jimmy in this bar called Backstreet in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The late 80s, I guess it was. Probably late 80s, mid to late 80s, something like that. And I had heard of him, and all that, but I never seen him perform, and it was like, a Monday night or whatever, too, right? And I went and saw him. For those of you that don't know who Jimmy James is, he started out as it's beyond impersonation. It's really taking on the character. He became Marilyn Monroe to the point where the family sued LAI Works to not let them use his expression of her because it was too much like her. It's eerie how he became her, but what his show, he would do the first half as Marilyn. I'm sure you've seen the show, right? And then do the second show with all the other voices that he would do. So he would do the full first half as Marilyn and then take the wig off, keep the makeup on, slick his hair back, put on a black jacket, and then do the second part of the show, which he would do these. It's not like rich little voices, but a little bit, but sing as these people. And he would do like Betty Davis, and he did he did the Sonny and Cher duet of "I Got You, Babe," doing both characters. There's a duet with Neil Diamond and Barbara Streisand that he did. Right?
You know,
So
moving
anyway,
flowers? Is that what he would do?
yes, and then he said, "I have a new character that I want to try out on you tonight." And he turned around. I literally, like, my whole being vibrates when I tell the story because I remember it the experience so vividly. And he turns back around because it's always that moment of he turns around and he comes back and he goes, "Sweet dreams of you," and it was Patsy Cline, and I fell out in the floor. I was like. And so the show ended, I ran over, like, I grabbed him, like, "Oh my God!" And I'll never forget, he was kind of like, "Who are you? Like, would you stop touching me? And who are you?" Right? But we got to know each other. And then over the years, saw each other in various places. Anyway, so just incredible. So what all that means for me, for you, is I hope you're going to create some type of video reel of all of this to put out to the world of your different expressions.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
I'll send you some stuff.
Good. It's good to have you back. I'm glad you had a great summer in P-Town. Then you're away on vacation, and congratulations on this next move in your life. So happy. So thank you. May you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday.
Thank you. Same to all of you. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you to all of you for being here today. Thank you to Travis as our audio tech and Robert Hensley, our video technician and social media and administrative person. Thank you to all of you for being here today. I affirm for each and every one of you that you have a very, very energetically based in gratitude week ahead, and that you know that just as you are and just what you're experiencing is perfection and wholeness. Nothing is missing. Nothing. Everything that you are and need is right there within you. And there's a community here that loves and supports you as well. And so know that I'm thankful for you, and I know that you feel that gratitude. And today has been an opportunity for all of us to tune in a different way to the frequency of gratitude and let that take root in our soul and let it be a call to action for all of us to give and to be more. Let's go back to kind of how we started and remembering the poem by Matty J. Stepanek. And so not to use someone's misfortune, as it would be have considered in life, to be a touchstone to say we have it better, but just as an example to know that life provides us the opportunity to use who and what we are and have, and to give of that, and to give it freely and lovingly and compassionately. That is the nature of life. And so thank you so very much. Todd's going to come back. Just before we do that, newsletter goes out tomorrow. You can sign up for it if you don't get it. Our next in-person is December 21st. That's our holiday show. Until then, we are be online each and every Sunday. We'll be back next Sunday online, as well as we've got a new thought text for the day that goes out each morning at 7:30. And we'd like to have your financial support of our community. You can do that by going to our website, csl-la.org, and click on the donate button or the app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living. And you can also follow us on all our social medias. Todd's going to come back on and take us through the song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Feel free to sing along. And after that, if you're on Zoom, we'll stay on and say a brief hello, and we'll go from there. Also, feel free in your mind's eye, as we did a couple of weeks ago in person, to insert to the word peace, let there be gratitude on earth, and let it begin with me. Todd, thank you, and take it away.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it